Once upon a time there was a miller. He was a very poor man. The miller had a beautiful daughter and he loved her very much. One day the miller met the king. He wanted to impress the king, so he boasted about his daughter. He said she could spin straw into gold. The miller did not know why he said this. It wasn't true. His daughter could not spin straw into gold. She was clever and kind. However, spinning straw into gold was a magical ability. His daughter did not possess such magic. Little did the miller know his words would have serious consequences. His boast would set in motion a chain of events that would change their lives forever. The king was a greedy man. He loved gold more than anything. When he heard the miller's boast, he was intrigued. The king had a plan. He would use the miller's daughter to get more gold. He ordered the miller to bring his daughter to the castle. The king's castle was a dark and imposing place. It was filled with riches, but also with secrets and lies. The king himself was a man of hidden desires. He craved power and wealth above all else. The miller's daughter, he believed, was the key to unlocking even greater riches. He would use her, he decided, to spin straw into gold and expand his already overflowing coffers. The king's heart was cold. He did not care about the miller or his daughter. He saw them only as pawns in his game of greed. He would use them to get what he wanted, and then he would discard them. The miller, blinded by his own ambition, remained oblivious to the danger he had placed his beloved daughter in. The miller's daughter was terrified. She was brought to the castle and locked in a room. The room was filled with straw. There was a spinning wheel. The king ordered her to spin all the straw into gold. He told her that if she failed, she would be punished. The miller's daughter had never felt so alone. The weight of her father's lie pressed down on her. She looked at the straw, then at the spinning wheel. Tears welled up in her eyes. She knew she couldn't spin straw into gold. It was impossible. Fear coiled around her heart, cold and suffocating. She was trapped, a prisoner of her father's foolish ambition and the king's insatiable greed. Her mind raced, desperately seeking a solution where none existed. She was just a simple miller's daughter. How could she possibly escape this impossible situation? As the miller's daughter sat weeping, a strange sound filled the room. A small, impish creature appeared. He had glowing eyes and a mischievous grin. This was Rumpelstiltskin. He offered her a deal. He would spin the straw into gold for her, but she had to give him something in return. Rumpelstiltskin was a creature of magic and chaos. He delighted in bargains and tricks. He saw an opportunity in the miller's daughter's desperation. His eyes gleamed with an unsettling light as he proposed the deal. The miller's daughter was hesitant. She didn't trust this strange creature. But what choice did she have? It was her only hope. She agreed to Rumpelstiltskin's deal. She promised to give him her necklace, her most prized possession, if he spun the straw into gold. Section 5. 3 nights of magic, the price of freedom. For 3 nights, Rumpelstiltskin helped the miller's daughter. He spun the straw into gold. The king was amazed. He couldn't believe his eyes. He had never seen so much gold. The king became greedier. He wanted more gold. Each night, Rumpelstiltskin returned. Each night, the room filled with the whirring of the spinning wheel and the glint of magically spun gold. Each night, the price for his help grew steeper. The first night, it was her necklace. The second night, Rumpelstiltskin demanded her ring, the last keepsake of her mother. On the third night, with desperation choking her, the miller's daughter found herself promising something she didn't even possess, her firstborn child. Section 6. Greed's escalation, the king's growing appetite. The king was overjoyed with the gold. He decided to marry the miller's daughter. He thought she was the one who spun the straw into gold. He didn't know about Rumpelstiltskin. The king was blinded by his greed. The wedding was a grand affair. The castle overflowed with guests and finery. Yet, behind the facade of celebration, a shadow lurked. The miller's daughter was now the queen, but her heart was heavy. The promise she made to Rumpelstiltskin haunted her. She was trapped in a gilded cage of her own making, the price of her freedom a terrifying secret. Section 7. The riddle of a name, unraveling the imp's power. The queen had her baby. She was a beautiful little girl. The queen loved her very much, but she couldn't forget her promise to Rumpelstiltskin. One day, Rumpelstiltskin appeared in the queen's chamber. He had come to collect his due, her child. The queen was horrified. She begged Rumpelstiltskin to take pity on her. Rumpelstiltskin, amused by the queen's distress, offered a bargain. If she could guess his name within 3 days, he would release her from her promise. Hope flickered in the queen's heart. It was a near impossible task, but it was a chance, however small, to save her child. She sent messengers throughout the land, seeking out the most unusual names. Day and night she racked her brain, desperately trying to solve the riddle that held her fate in the balance. Section 8. Triumph and Despair. The two sides of a bargain. The queen spent 2 days guessing names, but none of them were right. On the third day, a messenger returned from a distant land. He told the queen a strange story. He had seen a little imp dancing around a fire. The imp was singing a strange song. In the song, he revealed his name, Rumpelstiltskin. Finally, armed with the knowledge she so desperately sought, the queen confronted Rumpelstiltskin. When he came to claim her child, she uttered his name. Rumpelstiltskin was furious. He had been outsmarted. In a fit of rage, he disappeared. Some say he vanished into thin air. Others say he fell into the very crack in the earth that his anger had created, trapped forever in his own despair. Section 9. The Moral of the Wheel. A lesson in honesty and humility. The queen was overjoyed. She had saved her child. She had learned a valuable lesson. She learned that honesty is always the best policy. She also learned that greed can have terrible consequences. The queen and her daughter lived happily ever after. The story of Rumpelstiltskin is a reminder that deceit, no matter how well-intentioned, can lead to dangerous consequences. It highlights the importance of integrity and warns against the perils of greed. It is a tale spun through generations, its threads woven with magic, trickery, and the enduring power of a mother's love. And so the spinning wheel falls silent, its tale spun, leaving us to ponder the delicate balance of choices, consequences, and the enduring strength of truth.